Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going over my SEO system and pretty much how I execute on an SEO campaign for e-commerce stores. And this is pretty much the same exact system that I use to rank e-commerce brands in the first spots for their most important keywords so we can actually generate organic revenue. And yeah, let's get started. So first, I'm going to introduce my SEO system, and that's going to be giving you a high-level overview on how things work, where you should start, how you should look at your store and prioritize action items and all of that stuff. So yeah, let's get started. The SEO system, usually when you're looking at an e-commerce store, you have three buckets of pages. You have the product pages, the collection pages, and then the blogs. Now, product and collections are usually just the shopping pages. I just label them as shopping pages because they have the same exact function. Long form articles are the middle of funnel blogs that I deploy on e-commerce stores, and these are usually used for us to actually educate the users before they're actually making a buying decision. And that's usually the step, like the research they do before they decide on what product they want to buy. And that's where I want to come in and provide value. And within that process, I want to position our solution or my client's product as the best in the market. And that's where I have to pretty much figure out how to create a gap between myself and the competitors. So that's what the long form articles are. Usually they are roundups or guides. Roundups are pretty much like top 10s, best of, ideas, how-tos. Guides are usually how-tos, and that's kind of a way for me to introduce the product. So you have the shopping pages, it's product collections, you have the long forms, it's roundups and guides, and then you have PR and external mentions, pretty much backlinks. So there's multiple forms of backlinks. You have the guest posting, niche edits, and then PR links. Now, as you can see, the authority flows from outside of your store into your long form articles, into your shopping pages. Why is that? Because we want a scalable infrastructure on our site for us to make the most out of the backlinks. You can technically link from your PR, like you can build backlinks into your shopping pages, but that's not really the best use of it. You want to run it into an article because the article you have way more opportunities for you to rank from a blog to another blog and from a blog to another collection. You don't really want to link straight to a collection and then the collection links back to a blog because it doesn't make sense. You want to push everybody, like all the visitors on the blog, to your collection pages or the product pages. So the authority flows from outside of your site into your blogs, into your shopping pages. But then when you're actually executing an SEO campaign, you're starting from the bottom of funnel pages into your blogs and then building your backlinks to your blogs. So in reality, you can't really build long form articles if you don't have shopping pages already set up for you to funnel people from blogs to shopping pages, or you're not really making the best use of your backlinks. If you're sending them straight to shopping pages, you need blog form articles. So what's happening here is that the authority is flowing in the opposite way than execution. And the main lever here, like what really is going to make the difference between you getting results in the next 3 months or results in the next 12 months is how fast you're going to execute on building that infrastructure. So I hope you guys get the SEO system here. Now, the second thing I want to go into is the user behavior when he's searching on Google. So let's say somebody types buy cigars. The intent is ready to buy. Then the landing page you want to send them to is a collection page or a product page because that's where they convert, right? They are ready to buy. They don't need more information. You don't need to build more intent through them. But then another search query is best coffee cigars. And what that tells you is that these people are in their research phase. So they are trying to look into, okay, what are the options for coffee cigars? And that's where I come in and I provide a blog where I go into the top 10 best coffee cigars in my eyes or in my experience as a client, right? And then I'm going to position my product or the client's product as a top solution in that blog so they can click on it and then go buy. So what's happening here is that if somebody's in the research phase, you just want to send them to a blog, and then the blog usually links back to the collection page or to the conversion page or the shopping pages. So that's the entire e-commerce SEO structure that you need to think of: collections, products, and then blogs. That's it, nothing else. Now, a lot of things affect your SEO campaign, and this is going to be your conditions for exponential growth. If you have things going your way outside of SEO, it's going to impact SEO in one way or another. And that's talking from my experience working with more than 50 brands in the last 2 years. I noticed that people that have these three things usually get better and further results than people that don't. And I'm going to start with the first one, brand equity, which means if you have social footprint and people looking you up on the search. So for example, what's your brand name and then the product or just the brand name itself on the search. And then they go and they click the website. What's happening is that it's telling Google that, hey, this is an actual actual brand in the real world, and there's going to be external validation, but basically other sources of validation, which is like Facebook or whatever, because that's where people are coming from. This usually happens either when you have a brand that's very well known or a brand that's running ads. And when you're running ads, people will tend to go and search for you on Google. So when you're doing these two activities, you're pretty much going to get branded equity, and that's going to help you with building authority on the SERPs, and it's going to help you rank over bigger competition. 2, the product catalog. So the bigger product catalog you have, the more opportunities you can go after, because if you have 1,000 product catalog, I can make, let's say, 100 collections out of that, right? But if you have like 50 products, I can pretty much make like 2, 3, 10 collections. The bigger the catalog size, the more collection pages I can make, and we all know the collections are usually the ones that capture the most transactional traffic. So the more products you have in your catalog, the more collections you can make, the more transactional traffic you can get to your store and get more sales. And then the third thing is Google ad spend, and that's usually the brands that actually deploy this or are using Google ads in tandem with SEO get faster results, because you're accelerating the feedback loop that usually takes longer by pushing paid traffic and getting these signals out of Google quickly. So the organic rankings usually get quicker, because what's happening there is that usually Google will take one page and then validate it organically by sending organic searches to it. And then if the bounce rate is good, if the conversion rate is good, if the click-through rate is good, then what's happening is it's validating that page, and then it's pretty much boosting its ranking. But what happens if you're sending paid traffic to that page? It's the same concept applies, but then you're pretty much pushing Google to validate your page way faster, so you get faster results and faster organic rankings. So these are the 3 exponential growth metrics that I look at, the conditions. And then I did another video on this. You can go and watch it just for that, and then I go into more in depth into these 3 things. And yeah, so let's get started with the third thing, and how an SEO campaign, or what is the content operation looks like for e-commerce SEO. So if you're starting from scratch or you have a small website, content ops is priority. If you have an existing website with a lot of pages, like 200, 300 plus pages, technical is priority, and you should want to look after it in the first few weeks when you're launching your SEO campaign. So let me give you the sauce, the value, the actual project management of an SEO campaign. Step 1, you want to create a page roadmap. That page roadmap is mapping out all the collection and product pages that exist on your site. Then you want to look into what collections you can add, or what collection you can niche down based on your product catalog. Then you want to segment the collection by use case. So that collection could be, for example, a machine type, a product type, or a use case. Like, what are you using it for? Like for snow, for beach, for whatever, like a jacket for snow, jacket for beach, that's the use case. Now we assign the primary keyword for each link. What that means is every collection will have its primary target keyword. That primary target keyword will pretty much scope out the best possible keyword for that page to rank for. After that, we want to fetch the SERP and keyword data, which means for that primary keyword, who's ranking number 1, who's ranking number 10 on that first page, what is the average DR, what is the traffic potential, what's the KD and volume. And then from there, you aggregate all of the keywords, and then you can sort out by assign business priority to collections, which means if that collection is more important or the client wants to move more stock through that collection or on that product, we assign it as a higher priority on the roadmap, because that's where we need to start with, right? And then align opportunities with business priorities. What's happening here is that when we figure out what the client wants to sell the most, we align the market opportunities, which means the keywords and then the data of that keyword, to match the priority products or the priority collections. When that document is done, the page roadmap is done, you want to start by executing on that roadmap, which means executing on the pages that are listed there. And then every page will go into another keyword research process where we take that primary keyword and then we break it down into variations and see where we can actually rank that page realistically right now based on the DR and the authority that the website carries. Now, once you have the SERP data, we just build a page architecture, we write the content, the outline, and then we design that page and then develop it. After we run through the same process for all of the pages that are on the roadmap, we want to track the performance of these pages, see what is the impact that we actually did before we implemented the changes and after we implemented the changes, and see if our data and our hypothesis is actually working. And that's where I set up tracking for page performance, and then based on the page performance, we either do content updates or we build backlinks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the content operation. We go from strategy to execution to performance tracking. Now, after that, technical operations, we want to make sure that analytics is set up. We make sure that the crawling of the store is easy and Google is having an easy time finding it, and pretty much like optimizing the crawl budget, which means we don't want it to be scraping and reading pages that they are useless pages. That are just like copies, variants, canonical pages, 10 pages, duplicate pages, all of that stuff. Just clean it up. Indexing, we make sure that the right pages are indexed. The pages that don't serve any purpose in Google are removed. And then the performance, of course, we want to focus on schema setup, page load speed, compressing images, and reducing CSS and JavaScript. Now, that's the process that I pretty much run every single client through, and that's how my entire agency is built. It's based on the page production and then page roadmap, and then of course we are judged by the page tracking and page performance. And if our performance is actually good, what I usually do is I go back to the client and be like, yo, we did 10 pages, that's how much money we generated, let's invest more in pages so we can generate more money. That's pretty much the operation side of things. So after that, we usually do a monetization and CRO sprint, and we make sure that the traffic that's coming into the site is converting at the best rates possible. Now, we only do like baseline on-site CRO. We're not really testing or doing any of that stuff. We're an SEO team, so we're just setting a standard on how pages are built, because that's a big part of our process. So the homepage, we just make sure that there's a checklist. We go through it like an announcement bar, newsletter opt-in, offers within 5 seconds, symmetrical hierarchy, social proof, all of that stuff. You can read this stuff, but on the collection page, we always like to link to best sellers, quick buy options, 2 to 4 products per row, show stock information and lower it, show timer of limited time product offers, show badges for discounted products, you save this much. Now, when it comes to the structure of my team, we usually have an admin, an SEO specialist. Under the SEO specialist, there's a writer, editor, and dev lead. And the admin usually manages the account, direct communication with client, make sure client stays happy, make sure results are produced, handover sprint to SEO specialist. And that's me, that's what I'm doing. I'm building the roadmap and I'm giving it to my production team to execute on that roadmap. Now, the SEO specialist is the one who manages the account base, produce page briefs and strategy, assign work to production team, reviews deliverables, follows through on content. The writer is the one who writes the briefs from the SEO specialist. He assigns the editor completed pages and reviews deliverables. The editor's job is to make sure that the content quality is at the standard we want it, reviews internal links, add pictures and references, assign page to dev. Once the page is done from a design and content perspective, we send it to the dev, and then the dev usually builds it up. And that's where most people actually, like most SEO agencies, fall short, because they don't have the system, they don't have the required resources to actually build and rank a page. They might just do the SEO, they might just add keywords to an existing page, but they don't have the capability of restructuring the entire page, redesigning it and developing it. And that's where my agency has the entire end-to-end capability of delivering on that. And that's what kind of sets us apart, because in a way we're taking care of the website because we're doing the entire cycle of producing a page, but we're also owning that page, because every single page that we work on is tracked. And that's where I'm like, okay, listen, if we need a restructure, a content update, like building backlinks, we have all of these things in-house to actually push it up. So I think that's enough for today. Went over like the main components of the SEO strategy that we usually do. I hope this gives you enough clarity for you guys to actually take this and implement it. And yeah, if you want to work with us, just apply to work with us. There's a link in the description for you to apply with us. And yeah, leave me any feedback, any comments in the comment section, and I'm just going to reply them and help you guys out. Peace.